believe that there are coming some challenging days, so I hope you're doing your part to get your house in order to weather difficult days. You know, God spoke to Joseph while he was in Egypt with regards to 7 years of plenty and then 7 years of famine. And because he had that insight from the Lord, he was able to really save a nation from economic collapse because the Lord spoke to him about coming days of calamity. I do believe that there are some challenging days that are coming ahead, and God is giving us time to get our houses in order. So I'm going to ask today, sometimes I'll teach for just a few moments with regards to this, but I've asked Matt Knight to come. Matt is so faithful back there along with the other tech guys, but I'm going to pull him out of the box today because he's got a wonderful story, because he's been through the valley and he's coming back on the mountaintop, and it's just a great testimony, and I wanted to take a few minutes to let you hear what God did in his life. Matt, share with us.
Morning. Got it? All right, guys. Just want to give you a little bit of history about myself, and the reason I'm going to do this is to let you know that I'm nobody. I'm 36 years old. I come from a broken home. I have no college education, but I've been self-employed since I've been married, which is in 2001, so we just hit 14 years last week.
Amen.
I'm an electrical contractor, and I do AV stuff, so that's what puts me in the booth. Early in my marriage, we thought things were pretty good. My business was pretty busy, and I was making a little bit of money, but I was living like I was making lots of money. In 2005, we built a home. We bought a boat, because you can't live in Charleston without a boat. 2006, my daughter, Lindsay, was born. In 2007, we started building a second home because the economy was so good and the market was good, so we were going to cash in on what was going on here in Charleston. Same year, I decided that I should buy a new car. So in the beginning of 2008, I was just over $1 million in debt. Then I found out Tiffany was pregnant with Wes. But hey, I had the American dream, right? I had it all. I had a house, kids, boat, toys, cars. But towards the middle of 2008, the bubble started to pop in Charleston. My business slowed down, we lost equity in our homes, then Wes was born. Everything I had created began to crumble. Keep in mind, we were not involved in church. In early 2009, we were unable to maintain 2 mortgage payments, so we sold our new house, but the damage had been done. Foreclosure proceedings had begun on our primary residence. Around the same time, Tiffany started attending a Bible study that Pastor T was teaching. She came to church a few times, she begged me to come, so I came a few times, but I just wasn't ready to come back. I didn't need God to fix the problems that I had created. How many of you are like that? So I knew God was my eternity, but I wasn't about to die, so I didn't need him to take care of me yet. I just needed to try harder to fix everything I had created myself. Our marriage was suffering, and Tiffany asked me to seek out some counseling, so we started seeing Pastor and Pastor T. And I can remember sitting in your office and saying, why do I need God to give me a strong marriage? 2 adults should be able to have a strong marriage on their own. Luckily, he got through to me. So we started coming a little more, and we began to call Legacy our home. We didn't come every day, but we came more and more. And I began to hear Pastor teach about the tithe. And I had a friend who tithed, and I can remember telling him, you got to be crazy to give 10% of your money to the church. I had a pretty good idea what he was making. And I couldn't make it on 100%. How was he doing it on 90? But he was doing it. So I listened to Pastor, I listened to him, and we decided we would begin to tithe. So as the economy got worse, so did our problems, especially our debt. We were struggling to pay bills, and even though we weren't making a mortgage payment, at the beginning of 2010, I decided to give this tithe thing a try. What did I have to lose? I couldn't do it on my own. In May of 2010, we lost our house to foreclosure. So even though I started tithing, I still lost my house. So here I was in May of 2010 with 2 kids, nowhere to live, no money to pay the bills. Tiffany found us a place to live, but now I had to pay rent. So I still had all my debt, my living expenses, and now I had rent. I had not made a mortgage payment in 14 months and still was struggling to make it. So how was that going to work? But I kept tithing, and I tithed and tithed. Every week I tithed. I got so intentional with the tithe that when I got paid, I immediately pulled out cash and brought it on Sundays. We learned what a budget was. Something I had only heard about from some dude on the radio. The weird thing is my brother had been preaching to me for years about picking up a budget. But slowly things started to change. And then in April, we were able to pay bills. And a few months later, things got better and better. We didn't have any extra, but we had enough. We ate sandwiches at home on Sunday after church instead of going to lunch with everybody else. And it was hard. But the harder we tried and the more we gave, the easier it got. By the end of 2012, God blessed us and made us debt-free.
Amen. Wonderful.
He has continued to bless us and use us as vessels to bless others. Last year, my business had its best year ever, and I can only give that to God. He worked a miracle on me, and I don't believe any of that would have been possible without Him and the faith that I put in Him to get me through it. And I just want to encourage you that if you're struggling anywhere in your life, financially or otherwise, just give it to Him. He'll get you through it. And especially I want to say thank you to our pastors who got us through the mess that we went through and lead us every day. Thank you, Pastor.
We appreciate that. Amen. You did great. You did great. Sometimes I can teach and teach and teach, and you just need a Matt night to come there. Some of you have similar powerful testimonies of how God has worked in your life. And let me just say this again financially, that I know, where's Andrew? There's Andrew in the back. I know Andrew's doing things with Dave Ramsey's class, so you can touch base with Andrew, and he can help you. He's got this stuff under his belt. People like Matt are doing it, and others in this congregation have gone through that. We can get you connected with people who can help you financially. If you're wanting help, we can get you help and get God involved in it, as well as some practical advice to get you back on track. Amen. Because God really wants to do great things.